Hey everybody, welcome to Dadeville Tiger Nation. We're so excited to be here today with you. Lots been going on in our community around the baseball field, a lot of excitement going. And today we're going to have the head baseball coach, Coach Hardin, sit down and talk with us. And I'm excited, Josh.
Absolutely, man. Jeff Hart. Man, the other night it was buzzing around the baseball field, and during the hit-a-thon, man, it was great. Got to see some kids doing some great hitting, and man, just really had a good time. The community really showed out, I believe.
Yeah. Thanks for coming, and so let's get started.
All right, welcome, Coach Jeff Hardin.
Thank you,
welcome to DTN, man. We're excited to have you. This is your first year as coach, man. So, what inspired you to become the head baseball coach at Dadeville?
Well, here's the reality. Something I've learned over time is that you can't outrun the sovereignty of God.
Amen.
And He's in control of everything. I wasn't looking to leave as an assistant to go to Reeltown 9 years ago, and I wasn't really looking to come back. I figured God knows where I'm at. He'll send for me when He's ready. And it was just time to come back, and we look forward to the opportunity of turning things around and making everything really special for our kids.
That's great. That's great. That's a good answer. So, what are some of the characteristics that you love and enjoy about the Dadeville community?
It's the genuineness of the people. I have friends here that I made 2005 all the way up till I left to go to Reeltown that were my friends for life. Here's the thing about the genuineness of the people. Just because I was coaching about 15 miles down the road, they never ever one time did I lose a friend because I went over.
Right.
They were still checking on me. They were calling me, texting me. If we played, after we played, I got a lot more texts though when Reeltown lost today. A lot of people checked in with me now when David beat Reeltown, but they're genuine people that are good-hearted, and I just really have made a lot of lifetime friends that will be my friends for life.
Awesome.
David Jones, he's like his blood relative to me.
Right.
Randy Nolan, like a blood relative to me, but a little older blood relative to me.
Right.
So he's more like my uncle, where DJ's like my brother.
Right. I got you. Yeah, we'll have to get into
That's a shock to Randy.
We'll have to get into the your DJ impression later on a later date one day. So
yes,
that'd be really good. But yeah, you're right, Coach. I believe there are genuine people here, and I think that a lot of the people are fired up. They are ready for a change with our sports program, and I think it's going to start with 2024. Well, Coach, how do you motivate your players and keep them engaged throughout the season?
That's a really good question. I think it starts in building relationships with each player. Once you build relationships with them, I think they're more open to stay engaged with you, because if they really believe that you care about them and that you're not just getting on them just to be getting on them, that if you come every day to the park, and I ask everybody to just try to figure out one way to get 1% better.
Right.
You know, how can you get a little better each day? If they believe you care, because what we got to realize is they're coming from all kinds of different directions, and they've all got something going on in their life.
Absolutely.
They got a great home life, or their home life is not as great. They still have a lot going on. And I think if they realize that you really, really, truly care about them, I think anything you tell them, they're more motivated by what you say. Years ago, one of the best baseball coaches I've ever known and been around is Coach Sammy Dunn. He used to have a saying. He would say, if you win the kids, then they'll win the game.
That's not good to say.
And that's, you know, if you build a relationship with them, and they're gonna hang with you. And when I praise them louder than I ever get on to them. It's just my style.
Right.
I know coaches that just rip into kids and get on to them and stay on them, and they hardly tell them when it's good. But for me, what's worked over 30 plus years of me coaching baseball is that I praise them louder and I talk to them to correct them. And you do that, and you do it the same way as you build relationships. If they've got something going on in their life and they did something good, they don't get that many attaboys. And when you give somebody an attaboy, it goes a long way. And then, of course, we have to correct them. But when you correct them, you've earned the right to correct them when they know you love them.
That's right.
And then they stay more motivated, and I think it creates a good balance at the field.
What a great method. That's one of the things, I heard you say is they're people first.
Yes.
And that's one of the things that you were going to try to do is make sure you treated them as people first.
Absolutely.
So I think that's really cool. So, what advice do you have for players looking to excel in, say, specific positions such as pitchers, catchers, infield, and outfield?
Well, me and Coach Nolan and David Jones years ago, we always developed this saying, whether we were in the cage or on the field, it was trust your training. That the training and the things that we do, like for the infielders, that they need to keep their feet moving, and when they make a throw, go follow their throws. And sometimes you can do all that stuff right in practice, but then not carry it into the game. That means you're not trusting your training. But we want to carry that over. For the first baseman, step into the angle of their throws. I watched This Week in Baseball when I was a little kid, and they had a Major League Baseball player on there playing first base. He had both his feet at the bag and would wait and read the throw, and then he would go step to the angle of wherever the throw is. And we teach them stuff like that they can learn to start mastering their craft. When we're talking to pitchers, learning that we learn how to pitch in flat ground sessions, learning about our grips and everything that we're doing, and finish our chin and chest and the mitt. Just keep on trusting what you're doing, because sometimes we might get in front of a crowd or in a game and we'll move away from that. For the catchers, like working hard, we've got a little wall drill we do with a tennis ball behind the catchers. We throw it off the wall, and they have to get their thumb under the tennis ball bare hand. Well, I stole that from a Division I catcher that I asked, what is the best drill you've ever done for receiving? He said, no, without a doubt, the tennis ball behind my head, where somebody throws it off the wall and they just get their thumb under. Then in the game, they can trust the training of that, where it just becomes natural now that I'm getting my thumb under all those strikes in the low part of the strike zone. For the outfielders, learning the importance of getting good jumps. I asked a college coach several years ago, what do you see the weakness is when a kid comes from high school to college in that transition? And he says their inability to go back. And we have very few drills where we ask them, we're doing coming in drills for outfielders because we don't know how to go back.
Right.
So we get those guys to creep just like an infielder does. And then once their creeping's over, they drop step and cross over, and they're able to turn that into a sprint. Teaching them to master their everyday training, and then when they get in the game, just react and trust the training. We want to make practice a little harder than the game, so that in the game they just react and trust what they've learned, and all the time
it becomes natural
to train.
Good job. So, what message would you like to give to your team and to the fired up Dadeville community?
Well, we kind of talked about it a little bit at the hit-a-thon the other night, and that's to let them know that we're all better together. I mean, we just absolutely, the whole community, we're going to be better together. The Dadeville baseball program cannot stand without the community.
Right.
And then I believe this community, the one that I came to in 2005, this baseball program meant a lot to a lot of people.
It did.
And all we want is some of those same people to come back, because I'm coaching relatives of kids I coached the first time that I was here. And some of those same people that were on the Diamond Club then and working around in the community, and the people you see up by the burn barrel, they've got relatives and they're still connected. We just want them to come back, because a whole community getting behind 36 players and 6 coaches, I just feel like it's going to make us all better, and it's going to be fruit that's going to remain for years to come.
Right.
But it's such a time as this moment, where now all of us working together, it won't be a baseball coach that comes in here and turns things around. It'll be some coaches and some kids and a Diamond Club and the whole community that says, you know what, we're going to be all in. And when we start to get all in, and it comes back, and these 36 players and 6 coaches feel the community behind us, I promise you it's going to bring back the eye of the tiger.
There we go.
And when the eye of the tiger comes back, because that's what our kids had here. The first bus ride that we took to Tallahassee, Alabama, when I got here, it was in February of 2006. I left a 6A baseball program where there was a ton of talent. And when I got here, I thought, well, there's not as much talent, it doesn't seem, but they love it. You know what? When we got on that bus, those kids went to that field, and not one kid flinched. Any talents they had on the other side, we beat them in a doubleheader that night. And Dadeville Baseball taught me a lesson that night. It's not what you think about when you look at them; it's who they think they are. And they got on the bus with the eye of the tiger. And I think when we bring that back, then it won't matter who we're going to play.
Right.
When the kids believe in the process of what we're doing and what we're teaching, and this community getting behind that 36, it's going to have fruit that's going to remain for years to come that I look forward to being a part of.
Man, got chill bumps. You fired up, David? I am. This guy is fired up, and I'm ready for this season to start. And thank you, Coach Hardin, for taking time out and coming and being a part of this. Man, we want to get this movement started. Clint and I were talking the other day, and I pitched something to my sister. Me and my sister Jill were talking the other day, and it was trying to come up with kind of a motto. All right, and one of the mottos that we had kind of like, oh my gosh, that's it, was fuel the fire, join the legacy.
Yeah.
And man, because there's a legacy in David.
Yes.
And I think that legacy, of course, you have to keep fueling that legacy to keep it alive.
Yes.
And I think that this is the start. We're going to be fueling the fire, and people can join the legacy. So
And I know that's what gave birth to DTN. And I want to tell you, from me to you, I appreciate what you're doing, and I am not surprised that DTN got its roots and was birthed right here in this community, because this community has the people to pull that off. And I'm thankful for how you're going to cover our kids and all the sports, giving us the freedom to share what we need to share, whatever's on our heart. I've never felt suppressed, not one day, talking to either one of you guys, that I could share my faith or
absolutely
say what I need to say, because we have a small window of time to make a difference in these kids' life. And I don't want one of them to slip through the cracks or fall to the wayside, that we didn't try to help them become a better man and to be able to say yes to Jesus in their time.
Amen.
So I appreciate you guys.
Thank you, Coach.
Yes, sir.
All right.